And welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors channel. My name is Chris, bringing it to you here from Westlake Village, California. We got some rain this morning. It's nice. Monday, it is a new week with new opportunity, and we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about what to expect this week as we have two major economic events. And yes, I'm talking about the midterm elections, November 8th and November 10th. CPI inflation coming out. I got that highlighted right here. I imagine we're going to get a lot of volatility around there. We also have jobless claims coming out. So CPI, the consensus is 298. And if we come out higher than expected, same thing with inflation, 8%. Let's say we come out at 8.1 or just 8.2. I think we could get an even higher read based off of GDP coming in hot and all the other economic data last month, which was coming out pretty hot. But we'll see about that. And what else is going on? We have some drama over the FTX exchange. And so we'll be looking at a potential short there or a long. And we're going to look at the altcoin index as a lot of the altcoins are starting to pump. And if I had to take a message out of this title, it would be don't get faked out. What drives markets profitability is Congress, and it's going to change hands here, and that means Inflation Reduction Act could get overturned. However, if Republicans win, right, if we go red, it means, I think, more gridlock. So fiscal policy is already supposed to be lower, and the Fed unloading the balance sheet, right? So essentially, they're not going to be doing any more spending if we get a red wave. And the Fed is already expected to lower their balance sheet. So in other words, in other countries right now where you have what's essentially helicopter money falling from the sky, which is going to be in the pound, getting a bit of a bounce today. But what did the week close like? You can see that's a bearish candle, so getting a bit of a backfill this morning as the dollar did come down this morning. And then you got Japan also getting the helicopter money. They are bailing out the bond markets and the euro as well. So as you can see, the other currencies are going to bounce as the dollar comes down, and we are testing a major trend line. So here's what I would say. The dollar did have bearish divergence, several higher highs and lower highs in the RSI, right? We got 1, 2, 3 right there. And what does that line up with? A drive down to that green box. If the dollar does come down, maybe test this 21. I expect it would bounce from this region. And let's just check it out on the 4-hour here. We are just coming on this major 4-hour trend line. And I wouldn't be surprised, in fact, if it did bounce there on the first pass. So again, when other countries are getting helicopter money, it's going to, bail out the bond markets, make the currency seem more secure. So the fiat money will go up in that country, and then vice versa as things get less secure, right? And there's a flight towards the dollar because it's the strongest currency. It's in a macro breakout until that kind of narrative changes, right? Which is, you got higher highs and higher lows. Now, if we do get a tick below, now that's something I'm glad I pointed out here. If we get a tick below 109.46, I'm going to put an alert there. The dollar could come all the way down to 106.71. So what would that line up with, which is one of the things I wanted to bring out, in the midterm election, is that if we have a red wave, I think that would be bullish for the stock market, and we could see a short-term rally, especially if the dollar comes down. If the dollar does get below 107.50, actually, I'm just going to put an alert on there. And this is a monthly time frame, so it could take, quite a bit to get down there, but that's how you add an alert. If the dollar does break down below there, that'd be the first warning sign that, hey, possibly, and again, this is a monthly chart, so this could take a month to play out. If the dollar wants to come down, but I would mediate that with a 4-hour closure back below that major trend line there that I had up there. What did I have it drawn out like this? Yeah, so a 4-hour, yeah, that's going to be a big pivot point on the market for the dollar. If we do start to lose that region, I do believe the green box will get taken or tested. And so that might line up with the Bitcoin bounce. Something else to keep an eye on is the bond yields before I get into the stock market, traditional assets. The 2 and 10 and the 30 are all up today. So, you know, if we start vice versa, I'd put an alert on the weekly time frame for this guy. You know, it looks like we do want to retest that 4.8 or 4.9% area. This is in a macro breakout on the weekly time frame, and sometimes you get these bear flag legs. So, you know, from the high to the breakout, pretty darn close. And if we, that is a measured move up to 585. If this thing really wants to get going, that could be the next leg. So we've got 2 legs so far. 1, 2 perfect legs, and the third one up would take us all the way to about 550 on the 30-year, and I could definitely see that happening. Again, weekly time frame does take some time to play out. This is more bullish for the dollar as well. So just want to keep, I'd say if we start getting above 5%, that's a warning sign. You know, bulls, watch out for Bitcoin. As bond yields go up, risk assets are going to take a hit. What else did I want to talk about really quick? Yeah, so until the macro trend on the dollar changes, you know, which is, you know, really on a weekly, right? We're making higher highs and higher lows. As long as we put in another higher low here, we're in a macro breakout. And same thing on Bitcoin until we change the macro trend by making a higher high and a higher low. It looks something like this, above 25K, boom. That would let me know, okay, something in the macro have shifted. Otherwise, let's let the trend be your friend till the end of the trend. And something else to note this week. So this is going to be an important week, as we will have 1, 2, 3 drives of hidden bearish divergence. If we do close the week anywhere below, call it $20,000. So if we get a bad print on economic data, in a sense, high inflation, right? Then, you know, that's a big warning sign on Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. Any kind of a closure below 20,000, even on a daily, that's going to probably increase the odds of the bears right there. You've got daily Stokes crossing down, CMEs here, getting a bit of a sell signal, low volatility, 5-day, extremely low volatility. And I do believe if we do get a daily closure below 20,000 bucks, and that'll likely bleed into this 5-day and any kind of a 5-day closure, which will be closing in the next 2 days, below 19,666, not a great number. That'll increase the odds for the bears. But again, macro trend, until, and if we did confirm those 3 drives of, you know, bearish divergence, I would be looking for a minimum shot to the bottom side of the range on CMEs, and then, you know, better hope that area holds. So again, my idea with the stock market and midterm elections tomorrow, if we do have a red wave, I'm not trying to be you know, bias in any direction here. But I would say that would line up with more of a bounce. And, you know, the last bounce didn't even get too high on the NASDAQ. The Dow Jones, however, did basically get to the top side of the channel. So it's been the leader. Let's see, to the downside, the Dow Jones was down 22%. And I believe we are getting the biggest bounce out of the Dow right now, up 13% from the lows. We are just getting about to the end of this video, so I want to wrap it up here. So any kind of a closure above here, above this wick, is going to be bullish and could mean some new all-time highs. I personally don't think this trend line is going to break on the third pass. That's what it looks like we're getting here. Actually, that would be the fourth pass. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, if we're going to tag this trend line. So the more touches to a trend line, the weaker it gets. This is on the daily time frame. So let's see if we're getting a bit of a bull trap, right? And any kind of a daily closure back above, really above this trend line. That's the 786 could get hit one more time, but I probably expect this area to be a failure unless, again, those midterm elections go red. I mean, who knows? We could get a bear market rally through the end of the year, and any kind of a daily closure, really, taking out this high at 34,000. I'd be looking to run all the way to the highs there. So 34,000, a daily closure above there, and probably, going to revisit the highs. Do I think that's the likely case? No, and this is not investment advice. I'm not a financial advisor. We talked about the altcoin index. Funny name for the index, but getting a bit of a breakout here and a retest. So if we're going to draw a trend line, I mean, I see two major ones coming from the highs here. So you would expect as, this breaks out here, altcoins are going to, outperform Bitcoin. What did I want to say here? So if this rally does fail at any point here and does want to do an actual retest of this trend line, most of these altcoins that have rallied significantly over the past few weeks are going to take it on the chin. Ethereum's been holding its own, not doing too bad. So just something if you want to keep an eye on the altcoin index, as Bitcoin dominance has been steadily going down and you've seen coins really start to pump. I'll start with Dogecoin. What do I see here? So I'd be looking back from these highs over here and seeing, okay, there's divergence coming all the way back from this pivot right here. 1, 2, 3 highs. If this does confirm as a local high, which I would say it's all but confirmed. I'd be looking at a test down to about 8 cents on Dogecoin, and could we have one more spurt back up here, make another lower high? But we are having hidden bearish divergence, which in the context of a downtrend, you're going to see a greater, trade with the momentum again. Again, odder things have happened with Twitter and the Elon Musk deal going on. Phantom, another one that broke out and is now, heading back down. But did break some major trend lines coming back all the way from, I believe, this pivot right here. Let's draw this one out. And it did get a perfect retest and pretty much an explosion. But if Bitcoin starts to lose $20,000 again, I imagine even coins like Ape, which pumped significantly, are going to lose those gains. And it will be the old 100% retracement. Ape has got several drives of bearish divergence too. Call it 2 drives. So 2 drives should get you a shot, to the 618. Where's that on the Ape coin here on the daily time frame if we're using wicks? We might even be there right now. Yeah, that's the 618 getting tested right now. If that area does break, your chances of returning to the bottom of the range here at $4.20 are much, much higher, in my opinion. All right. Sand, another one, took a big pump over the weekend and now playing out the divergence. So how many drives do we have? So all of these are clear lower highs coming back from this pivot right here. Oops. So this would be a fun one to see if this plays out. This is on the daily time frame. Let's see if we can get it on the higher time frame. Nope. Just on the daily, it's more clear. So we will mark off this area right here. And we do have 4 drives here. So how would I mark this off? Based on the 4 drive philosophy, we would be looking at, so that's 1, 2, and these are coming from a high region over here. Additionally, a bearish divergence coming back from this pivot right here. So is that a confirmed high? Yes, it is in my book, but really conservatively back below 78 cents, and I'm looking for a big move down. And I'd put a target on this one down here, any kind of a daily closure below 78 cents. Vice versa, a daily closure back above 98. You're probably getting a run back up to that purple 200. And the rest of that breakout to be in play. All right, so again, traditional markets, DXY, we went over them all, kind of a little bit longer video this day. If we do hold this trend line, I do believe we could bounce off this trend line and play out some bullish divergence coming back from, where would it be? This pivot right here. So you'd have multiple drives. If we confirm this as a higher low on the daily time frame, we need a closure back above 111.50. So, what does the dollar do in the fate of our midterm elections? In a sense, I would say, again, I could be Republican biased here, but, markets rally perhaps if the Reds get elected. I don't know. Maybe I got my red goggles on. So I just wanted to cover the news real quick. CZ on Binance, right? He let the guy over at FTX know, Sam Bankman-Fried, hey, we're going to dump all of our FTT tokens, some, I don't know, $2 billion worth. So it was a pretty big news. And essentially what's happening at FTX, not only are people leaving the exchange because Sam Bankman-Fried has kind of been against the more freedom type movement when it comes to the government having their hands in our cryptocurrency, right? Needless to say, just rumors. Don't want to spread them. But FTT Alameda drama weighs in on the market as Asia begins its week. So FTT, Sol, and BNB all begin the week in the red as the market digests Alameda's questionable financial position. So traders in Asia awoke to a market partially in the red, and FTT exchange token, which makes up a significant amount of Alameda's assets, is down 5% on the day as Binance CEO Cheng Zhangpeng, call him CZ, tweeted he's dumping his FTT coins. So exchange balances of FTT are also surging according to data. And let's see. It says FTX is suffering from a major spike in exchange outflows during the last week. Approximately 292 million in stable coins have left FTX. Traders could be departing the exchange over fears of liquidity issues as Alameda is a large market maker on FTX. Meanwhile, Solana token and Alameda and FTX is down 11%. So rumor is basically FTX might have to sell some of their Solana and their BNB just to hold the peg of their, FTT token. I don't know. It's all just rumors, but, people are pretty quick after the Luna debacle to jump ship and make, just go somewhere else. I wanted to take a look. They said something about CZ buying all the tokens at 22. That's what they are willing to sell it to CCC, some, $2 billion worth, I think, of FTT token. And so they're defending it right now. And pretty much, your chances of a bounce from that region, I think, in the short term are okay. Longer term, if Bitcoin, if we lose this region, right, you can see here, it is literally a free fall zone. Below this level, any kind of a daily closure. I mean, taking out this wick, very similarly to Bitcoin, 17.5 wick. This wick here at 21 bucks. I think it's pretty much a free fall zone. And that's, let's put the volume profile on here. Did that help us out at all? Nope. Yeah, so there's literally no volume. It is going to be bad news for FTT below 2268. Who knows? Maybe there's a bunch of traps being set right below there. But I imagine with these rumors, things are not looking well. We covered a little bit of ApeCoin, getting backfill on the 5-day right now. And another one that could be cooling off here if Bitcoin does cool off. I'll just check in on the short term here with Bitcoin on the hourly before we check out for the day. So you can see something else similar. Bitcoin moves in waves, right? You've got the first impulse, the second one, and where do these bounces typically happen? Right, there's that's the 382 right there. And then if we did the same thing here, I do believe we're coming into the 618 region. So if we do put in a bounce from this region, you're looking for this to come back up to the 236. If we put in another lower high right there, that would confirm more bearish divergence. So we got 1, 2, 3 coming back from this pivot right here. So, any kind of a lower high below this level is going to have additional bearish divergence. So that's pretty much it. 21.8 on a shorter term time frame is probably going to get you a shot back to that top side of the range at 22.5. All right, that's it from me today, guys. I'll check back in with you more tomorrow. One other last thing I wanted to mention for the Bitcoin bulls out there, something to keep an eye on the macro trend. The monthly time frame, we've got accumulation distribution indicator that just put in a bit of a divergence. So let me see if I can pull that chart up on. Let's use a different exchange. So not only did we get the blue buy signal, that was way back there. That one's for the daily time frame. So just another point for the bulls. So we did get a blue buy signal back here on the hash graph, but that's not what I wanted to show you. And theory is, Bitcoin after those blue buy signals usually makes a new all-time high. Is that new all-time high going to be 30,000 bucks? I don't know, but I'm not going with that one right now. Daily, monthly MACD is losing, the histogram is losing some validity. Oh, here's a bullish thing. Just a tick above here typically gives you that move up to that, so that would be 26.3 coming in on the monthly, but that's not what I want to show you. Here is the accumulation distribution. So still pointed down. Depends on what exchange. Yeah, that's a steepening. So once this begins to get a positive slope, typically some of the best macro lows have been put in. BLX, it's losing the curvature there, so point for the bulls, but not ready to call it yet myself. So can we derive anything from the NASDAQ? Bitcoin, we say, is a higher beta tech stock. And I'm not seeing a whole lot other than, month starting out pretty red for November in the NASDAQ. That does look pretty bearish start for the month. I'm going to put back on my regular chart here. And this is looking a little bouncy. Any kind of a daily closure above here, probably going to confirm bullish divergence. I would be looking for a shot back to the top side of the range, because you would have, let's see, how many drives? Technically 2, but that's close enough is close enough. So at least a shot to the 618, coming in at 11,316 with a daily closure back above 10,992. So is this guy going to lead us to the top side of the market? I don't know. NASDAQ, it's been a long video today, guys. It's Monday. We got a lot coming up this week. So I'll be back with some more information and some more updates on FTT and FTX token. Thanks and have a blessed day.